Welcome to the latest edition of Talking Points Chats. David Danto here with my partner, Dave Michels. Dave, where are you now?
I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona, and it's like a
Scottsdale.
thousand degrees here.
Beautiful downtown Scottsdale, Arizona. Very nice. And why were you in Arizona?
I'm at the RingCentral. Let's see what they call it. They called it Summit, the RingCentral Summit, which is their analyst event this year. They've done it here in Arizona for the first time, and yeah, it's been a good event. It just wrapped up. There's still some boxed lunches here, David. You should grab one.
I don't know if you can get it through the airplane across country, and you're probably flying back to Europe anyway. But I know you missed the Ring Central event last year, but you were at a number of them before. How does this rate compare in your own experience? Is this a good
Th-
event,
th-
or
I have to say this was a good event, and I think it's partly because I missed it last year. I think I've been to every Ring Central Analyst event, but last year, and so maybe it's because I missed it, maybe not. But there's just a lot changing here, and it was good to see all these people here. There's a lot in motion at Ring Central, more than I had realized, and I thought I knew everything about Ring Central.
okay? So, what does Ring Central do nowadays? What's tell us about everything that's included in their packages of what they do.
Well, they obviously do voice, and the best thing about their voice solution is that they still talk about it and they're still proud of it. So, voice first company, and it's been surprising and kind of interesting to watch this company evolve over the years. And you've been along for the ride, David. I mean, it's they started off as strictly voice, and I don't remember the years, but they bought Clip, and and they got into messaging. Then they built their own video suite, and then they bought the assets from Hopin, and they got into events, and then they developed their own contact center. So they keep on expanding the portfolio, and they've got a lot going on. It's a pretty complete story, but the voice first. They're very proud
Voice
of that.
first. I love
Yeah.
voice first. So did they talk about how they're doing, their results, their earnings, what's going
You
on?
know, and so it's funny because a lot of times you're at an analyst event, and the way the timing lines up is you're during a quiet period and they can't talk about it. So they just announced their results a week or two ago, something like that. And so yeah, they're doing great. The total revenue was at I think 2.5 billion, up 5%. Increased what their share repurchase authorization. Subscription revenue is growing. I think it was 6% year over year. Just a lot of good stats. They've got a good story coming together. So they got the story coming together, and they got the results to prove that it's working.
Okay. So how did the analysts that were there kind of take the portfolio? It felt a little more focused? Did it feel still all over the place? What was your experience of it and their experiences of it?
Yeah, I think it was really interesting that uh, pretty diverse set of analysts here, and so you had, like I said, because the portfolios evolved so much. But I think what's coming together here is there was a much more clear vision around their portfolio. And of course, David, you're going to love this part. AI was a big part of the story, but they have a tagline, and I like it. It's one agentic AI platform, every interaction, unlimited outcomes, and they're delivering on that. They've got a pretty good story around their AI. We'll get into that a little more here, but just kind of high level. I would say, we all know that UCAS has kind of matured and there's a lot more energy at CCAS. And so we're seeing that here at this event. There was a lot of CX focus. But at the same time, because of products like AIR, AI Receptionist, we're seeing a lot of excitement around the UCAS portfolio too. So what's interesting too is that they're going at it a different way. They've made EX, their UC suite, part of their CX story, where a lot of UCAS companies are uh, are really trying to revamp around CX and CCAS. They've actually made, hey, we have a great CX story, and EX, UCAS or EX is part of that. And a good example of that is the customer engagement suite that they launched right around December, I think it was last year. That has like an informal contact center. So they're really bringing together a lot of their assets pretty nicely. So I think the story is coming together, and I like the clarity that I'm hearing here.
Okay. Well, what about the people? The same faces, different faces? What's going on there?
That's a whole nother chapter, David. There's a lot of new faces here, and a lot of these faces are old faces because they're boomerangs. And I think this kind of goes back to another drama about a year ago, almost exactly a
Drama
year
in our
ago.
industry? No,
Yeah,
come on.
uh, RingCentral's had a little bit of trouble. Vlad is the CEO, but he's been trying to hire a president, and he's had a few misfires that didn't work out the way he wanted it to. And about a year ago, he promoted internally Kira, and Kira's done the Enterprise Connect keynotes recently, and promoted Kira. And I think a year into the role, I really think that RingCentral is changing under her leadership, and I think it's really for the positive. I think she's because she's an insider, where the others were all external hires. She's really leveraging what's inside of RingCentral, and because she's been there for a while and knows Vlad pretty well, that she's connecting the Vlad's vision to what she's doing, and she's also you know, kind of responsible for innovation, which I'll get to in just a minute. But back to your other question here about the new phases. Kira, I think, is responsible for attracting a lot of impressive talent. So just kind of go through a quick list here. Antonio Nucci, Chief AI Officer, and he did a fantastic demo in Italian. Jeff Cantor, and he came from Cisco and Symantec. Jeff Cantor, Chief Customer Officer, he came from NICE. Curtis Peterson is SVP of Customer Experience. He left. He's a boomerang, and he came back. He was at so his credentials include RingCentral and Windstream. Stephen Zaczak, I think it's pronounced, VP of General Manager of AI, so another AI title. He comes from Cognigy and RingCentral and Zoom. Joe Farner, GM of Air, the AI receptionist product I mentioned. He comes from Twitter. Ali Torre, GM of SVP Conversational AI. He comes from Salesforce. So a lot of impressive names on the roster here, and they've all been here within, all hired mostly about a year ago, but they've all been here about a year. Some of them are actually brand new.
Wait a minute,
Um,
you left out our friend, the Queen of Meetings, the Queen of Video.
Well, yeah, that's not the past year, but yeah, actually, Kirsten was here, of course, and I've got some updates for you coming up here. But she came from the Hoppin acquisition, so she's been on board for a few years, but she's doing great. And in fact, if you want, well, we'll get to that in just a minute here.
Okay.
But I just want to wrap up this thought with. I think that the friction's being removed. I think that things are more empowered here at RingCentral, and I feel that there's just a lot more excitement.
Okay. So why did it take a circuitous route to bring her back to be the president? Why wasn't it
Yeah,
all
that's an
direct?
interesting role, interesting question. But I think it's kind of one of those things about hindsight is 2020. But to be fair, you could argue that the time is right now for Kristen because of her CIO, Chief Innovation Officer background. There's an argument that prior maybe the focus was more around execution, but right now with AI disrupting everything, it's really all about innovation. So she's in the right place now, and I'm really happy for her.
Okay, terrific. So what did you learn about in terms of what they're doing now, their new products, their solutions, their old products? What'd you learn?
Yeah, well, we're just before Enterprise Connect, so we got a little bit of preview of some of the things announcements there. So I can't share that just yet. I can tell you that AIR, the AI receptionist I already mentioned twice already, is a big part of the story, and I think that's just going to keep on getting better. They've got AIR has turned into like three products. They got AIR for automation, AVA for assistance, AVA, and ACE for insights. And so you got three new AI-powered suites that are really powering the RingCentral future. And I think this is really how we're seeing UCaaS evolve, I mentioned earlier. And it's a good story. They're really getting the AI story together. Now, the stuff that you're going to be interested about, and what Kristen was talking about, was they've renamed RC Video. It's now AI Meetings. I know you're not going to like that title, but it's now AI Meetings. That includes meetings, webinar rooms, and events. And they're
These are my
also
AI snacks, and I got
yeah,
my
yeah,
AI shirt on. And
there you go, there you go. They're also getting traction. We've seen so many companies try this. They're actually getting traction though with rooms as a service, and One of my frustrations with their room solution is they've had kind of limited hardware choices, but I think that's going to change here soon. Stay tuned. And I think that Kristen's been putting a really good focus on quality of the experience, and they've done some really clever stuff. Like in the meetings now, when you're in presentation mode, you can see things like emojis and chats, and I think that's kind of a helps the speaker kind of connect more with the audience. They were also using their event software here, which I really like that because it's so much nicer to grab a screenshot off your laptop than trying to take a picture and get it in your notes later, which I've never seemed to manage to do.
Now, wasn't RingCentral at some point using a different service for video, and then they've switched back to their own homegrown one?
Yeah, well, you know exactly what you're asking there, but yeah, they had a long history. That's the problem with our industry is that you start off with partnerings and then eventually you end up as competitors. But yeah, they had a really strong partnership with Zoom for a long time. That then they built their own video solution. They had a strong partnership with NICE, and then they built their own contact center solution. That's just the nature of our industry. And I think it's been important for RingCentral to do that, and I think they're getting momentum with a more complete suite. So, and of course, Zoom has done the same thing. They've gone into UCaaS, and NICE has gone into UCaaS. So it's just the nature of the industry.
So they were all different slices of the same pie, and now it's all different pies that they're all trying to,
Yeah,
own the
but
world.
RingCentral is voice first. They're well, Zoom is associated with meetings first, and NICE is associated with CX first. And so,
Zoom is AI first. I think actually they're all
uh,
AI first now, but
yeah, they're all AI first.
that's another story. But you haven't mentioned that one other name, the blue guys, the Avaya name.
Red guys. I
Red guys.
I don't know.
Sorry,
They changed their
blue
color.
is Nortelia. I get them confused.
Yeah, but it was actually here at this event. I'm going to say 3, 4 years ago, maybe longer, when they announced Avaya partnership and the Avaya Cloud Office (ACO). And so that story is not that didn't get a lot of attention here. But what's interesting about that is that when they announced that, RingCentral wasn't in the contact center business. And so basically, Avaya outsourced their UCaaS story and gave actually RingCentral exclusive rights to their UCaaS story. But now RingCentral has expanded into RingCX and contact center. And a lot of Avaya folks are like, hey, this is great. This is exactly what we wanted. So they're seeing a lot of traction with RingCX and the Avaya suite. And they also offer their AI solution as a standalone solution. So they're actually making it available to a Avaya base that has Avaya as a PBX still, and they're getting basically Avaya customers are outsourcing their innovation to RingCentral, and so that's an interesting story too.
That is an interesting story. Although partnerships with Avaya tend to not have happy endings for a long time, so it'll be interesting to keep an eye on that, and
Well,
hopefully this
they
one
had happy
continues.
endings for 60 years, and it's just the last 20 or so that's been a problem.
So it was worth your time going there.
Yeah, it was a good event, and I think the analysts were generally pleased with what they heard, and the leadership team was available. Even Vlad himself showed up for one panel, and so it was overall a great event and a great location.
All right, so if you were telling somebody what is the Ring Central story while the elevator is going down, the elevator or the escalator pitch, what is your takeaway? What's the Ring Central other than voice first? What's the Ring
I,
Central story?
I think the RingCentral story is basically they're reimagining collaboration with an AI first lens and delivering on it. Because as you pointed out, a lot of companies are saying this. Some companies aren't doing it as well, and some companies are doing it better. And RingCentral's got this pretty well thought out. They've got a pretty strong story. I really like that they have so many elements. So obviously the UCaaS and CCaaS pieces, but the events piece I think is really important, and the video and the room systems. The story is really coming together, and I really like a lot of it. They did some great demos. I really like what we're seeing with the AI stuff. I think they're making AI accessible and to a different segment of customers that may not have had access to this technology before. So I think that's all pretty good.